grief, black swords, hushed whispers, and the sound of quiet sobs fill the space. The Kims, one of the wealthiest families in the country, have gathered to mourn the loss of their Kim Harin, Taehyung's older sisters. Taehyung stands near the altar, his usually composed face looking utterly broken. His mother, Mrs. Kim Bora, clutches onto her husband's arm, tears dropping down her face. At the back of the room, one hardened best friend stand nearly holding a small sleeping baby. The Kim family's private lawyer sits across from them, a stack of legal documents in front of him. Taehyung looks exhausted, his black dress shirt slightly crumpled, his tie loosened. Lawyer clears his throat. Mr. and Mrs. Kim, Taehyung, I offer my deepest condolence once again. As per Harin, she is well. There's a few matters we must discuss regarding her state and her child. Her child? The room falls into a suffocating silence. Taehyung slowly lifts his head, his starred eyes flicker with confusion. What do you mean by that? One who has been sitting quietly in the corner grips the baby's tiny hand protectively. She knew this moment was coming but still felt unreal. Carefully, Harin, she had a child, a baby girl, only 6 months old. Her name is Kim Harin. Mrs. Kim gasps, passing a hand to her chest. Mrs. Kim's face darkens. Taehyung feels like the air has been knocked out of him. Oh, she had a child? Yes. Taehyung sharply told one, and what do you know about this? When we, her family, didn't, because she trusted me. She was scared. She didn't want Hyun. Flinches at word. Taehyung clenches his jaw. Who is the father? One hesitates. She never told me. The lawyer clears his throat again, sensing the tension. The main point is Harin Chival states that she wants Taehyung to have sole custody of Hyun. What? Fira, this is absurd. Taehyung has a business to run, empire to inherit. He can't. Still in shock, states a baby now, peaceful as sleeping in one's arm. His sister child, his niece, his responsibility. Yes, she believed you were the only one who could love Hyun the way she deserved. Nonsense. One flinches. Actually, Hyun, she had a second request. If for any reason she refused to take custody, the next guardian is interested Hyun. Taehyung stares at one stares back. Mrs. Kim looks like she might faint. No dangerous sort. In short of, you must take responsibility. Either Taehyung she as her uncle or when she as her best friend. Mrs. Kim glares at one as if blaming her for everything. There is no way I'm letting some outsider raise my granddaughter. When grip the baby tighter. Then maybe you. Mrs. Kim immediately backs down. I have no time for that. Taehyung, who was been silent for too long, suddenly stands. He walks over to one. One hesitates and carefully hands the iron to him. The moment his arms wrap around her tiny body, something inside him shifts. The baby stares the tiny fingers, watching him. She looks like Harin. I will take her. Taehyung, we can hand the child over to nannies who will raise her. But you will not raise her in this house as a single father. What will society say, Taehyung? Kim Taehyung is raising a daughter from an unknown woman. She raised her voice. There is no way you are getting custody of her, and I will not let this outsider girl take my granddaughter. We will give her to the best nannies, or I can entrust to my most reliable people if they are willing to adopt her. Interrupted from Harin didn't want that. Mrs. Kim or shy snapped to Van, her expression full of disdain. You keep speaking for Harin as if you know more about my daughter than I do. I was the one holding her hand when she cried over this. I was the one she trusted enough to tell me the truth. If she hadn't trusted you, Mrs. Kim, you wouldn't be finding out. Mrs. Kim's face tightened in anger, but Taehyung speaks before she can explode. In outer room goes silent. Taehyung looks down at Hyun, then at the lawyer. You said she wanted me to raise her, right? Hyun shakes his words were, I trust only my brother Taehyung to raise my daughter, and if for any reason he refuses, the next person I trust is Van. But under no circumstance do I want my parents to take custody of Hyun. Mrs. Kim had been quiet all the time, finally speaks, serious. If Harin also insisted, then we must respect her wishes. Mrs. Kim turns to her husband. Are you all kidding me? He will raise a child on his own. He forgets to eat his own meals from morning to evening. Work. Our son is a workaholic. He can't raise a baby alone. And if I've said before, this baby will not stay in our house. Taehyung, I will figure it out. And if you don't want this child in this house, fine, I will move to my private mansion with her. You figure it out? Please, son. Do you think raising a child is a joke? She raised her voice again, but this time there's a concern hidden beneath her anger. I don't want you to face all the criticism, backlash, pressure, or stress over both the child and business thing. It's not your fault. This is a mistake by your sister made. Then look at Van, watches him carefully. It's okay if you're scared. This is a huge decision. I'm not scared of taking, I'm scared of failing her. Then let me help you. Thank reason, bro. I promise Hari and I had always be there for Hyun. And I mean it. I won't let you do this alone. There's a long silence. What are you saying? That two of you will raise the baby together? If that's what it takes, then yes, Mrs. Kim scoffs. And what will people say? That a great Kim thing is raising a child with a woman who isn't his wife? Do you think a family name can afford such a scandal? They are done colder, Taehyung tightens a grip on Hyun. What are you trying to say, mother? Mrs. Kim leans by crossing her arms. If you really want to raise this child with one, then there's the only way. Marry her. Marry her. One spirit catches, thinks and body sniffs. Excuse me. Calmly, if you want to raise a Hyun without any backlash, you need to present yourself as a proper family. A single father running one of the biggest Korean company. One looks at Taehyung, her mind spinning. You never liked me for years and now you want me to marry your son? Mrs. Kim take a deep breath and sigh. Right now, my son matters the most to me. If Arin can trust you with her child, then you can raise her. But only with Taehyung, because if you don't marry him, you are nothing but an outsider to me. And top of that, I don't want Taehyung to fall into depression. What will happen if we can't handle everything alone? So it's better if we marry him and take care of the child together. Taehyung rolled his eyes, keeping them shut. One face tightened. She knew this all along since childhood. Harin had told her that their mother was biased loving her son, Taehyung more, but their father, Mr. Kim, always treated them equally. Even though one can't believe. So you are scared now. I knew you would back out. See, no one wants to take responsibility for that child. Even if Taehyung steps up, do you think he won't get married in the future? One day he will. And what will happen the moment? That won't happen. I won't let anyone. Every father says that, but behind their back, their wife does as she please. She scoffs. So when, if you are not willing to take responsibility with Taehyung as a family, the door is right there. She points toward it. You can leave and we will handle this matter on our own. Mom, you don't have to force one into this. Hari never said she had to marry me just to take care of the daughter. Susan scoffed, cutting him. I will do it. Everyone turns to look at her in shock. When? It's okay, Taehyung, I will do it. I'm not going back on my promise. She looks at him, takes a deep breath. Do you want to marry me? She asks why he's concerned. I will. 2 days later, you are in your apartment with Hyun. You brought her here after a lot of requests from Taehyung. Your wedding is in 15 days. You told your parents everything, and thankfully they said they would support your decisions. You are in the kitchen making breakfast after feeding Hyun. The door bell rang. You rushed over the door and opened it. You think it's Taehyung because he usually comes to see Hyun every morning and evening. But it's not Taehyung, it's Jihoon, your boyfriend. Hey, are you here? He snaps his finger when he sees you lost in thought holding the door. Jihoon, you came here at this time. Why? He paused for a moment, his face cold. You have been ignoring me for a few days. You opened the door wider and let him in. As he steps inside, his eyes land on the baby playing with the toys in the crib. You didn't tell me you had someone's baby here. His expression softens as he smiles and makes funny faces at Hyun. You sighed. Just 2 minutes ago his face was serious and cold. Do you want a coffee? He nods. Yeah, baby. You freezes at his words. You know you have to tell him everything today. 10 minutes later, you hand him a cup of coffee. He is still playing with the Hyun. You clear your throat for his attention. Jihoon, you came here for me, right? You slowly raise your voice. He finally looks at you and nods. Yeah, baby. He sits close to you and tries to hug you, but you stop him. Jihoon, this is Hyun's daughter. He looks shocked hearing this and glances at the baby again. What? His eyes widen. Yes, this is her child. You repeat, but Jihoon's eyes still refuse to believe it. You are not pranking me, right? Harin had a daughter? He shudders. His face turned pale. You are confused by his reaction. Yes, she had a daughter. Her name is Hyun. She is 6 months old. Jihoon exhales deeply and looks at Hyun. Anyway, Jihoon, I have to break up with you. You speak slowly, staring down at your lip. What? Why when? He almost shouts. You glance at Hyun. She's about to slip. Jihoon grabs your arm, not tightly but enough to pull you closer. What are you doing? You remove his hand. I love you, man. Did I do something wrong? You shake your head and finally tell him everything. After hearing it all, Jihoon gets silent, shocked, and full of guilt. But what hits him more is something he knows, something he can't see yet. You watch him. Another knock at the door. You open it, and this time it's Taehyung. As he steps in, his eyes immediately land on Jihoon. His gaze turns dark. He knows exactly what the man is, no other than their family's rival, Park Jihoon. Their eyes then shifts to Jihoon's hand resting on the hand's grip. What are you doing here? His cold voice and shiver down his spine. I came to check on my girlfriend. His tone is much as Taehyung's coolness. You will stand there confused for a moment until it hits you. They know each other. They are not just strangers, they are enemies. I hope she told you everything because now she is my fiance. The way he emphasizes my fiance makes her heart skip a bit. Jihoon chuckles starkly. I didn't know Taehyung also learned how to beg, begging for someone else's girlfriend to marry him. Taehyung's jaw clenches hard. Jihoon, it was my decision and you have to respect it no matter what. You said firmly, stepping between them and looking at Jihoon. Taehyung stood behind you, feeling strange emotions stirring inside him. When Harin said either you or Taehyung should raise Hyun, right? Not together, so why are you marrying this madman? He doesn't even have feelings for you. We both can raise Hyun together. If you are mine, then whoever you will love will also be mine. He said, making your eyes wide in shock. Yeah, I could do that, but we have already made a decision, Jihoon. I know this is very hard for you, but Taehyung also wants a custody, just like me, so we have to be together. Jihoon Chuk lunges as he looks at Hyun, his heart pounding fast. Well, I need you to say something. Hey girls, nervously, Taehyung watches both of you. What? Hyun is matured. Both you and Taehyung's eyes widen. Taehyung Chuk lunges as he steps within you and grabs Jihoon's collar. Stop your shit lies. You can't believe what you just heard. Tears start to form in your eyes. I'm not lying. Why? You managed to ask, your voice trembles. Jim struggles to free himself from Taehyung's tight grip. When I was stupid and naive, he removed Taehyung's grip, his face turned vulnerable. He reaches over your hand, you shove him away. When Taehyung, I'm sorry, you stare at him, pure anger and hot filling your eyes. He hides such a big truth from you. Meanwhile, things stunned to hear this biggest enemy apologize, but his rage only deepens. How did he get Harin pregnant? How did he abandon her? I'm sorry, maybe, but everything I did for you, your eyes widen and your jaw clenches. When he tries to step closer to you, you immediately step back. Why did you both hide this from me? You're feeling utterly betrayed by both of him and your lead best friend. You both were cheating behind my back. Jihoon frantically shake his head, his eyes not teary. I have always loved you from the start, but you never paid attention to me. When I found out Harin was your best friend and had a crush on me, I befriended her to get close to you, but she was also the daughter of my biggest enemy. It wasn't easy for me. I wanted my revenge on Kim's, so I made her fall in completely love with me. When she started trusting me, she introduced me to you just like I had wanted from the very beginning. And years we slept together. But after a few months, I never loved her, that I only loved you. And if she ever tried to say anything bad about me to you, I didn't have to expose telling her family that she had. I knew her family wouldn't believe her, but trust me, Vanna. Shut up, you disgust me, I hate you. You ruined everything because of you, my best friend is. I'll never forgive you. You shout, punching his chest. Tears flood your vision. This man is beyond disgusting, beyond redemption. Punch. You're right, Taehyung. I'm not even a human. Because of me, she drove that night, heartbroken, and had that accident. I live with this guilt every single day. I broke her heart, and I never even knew she was hiding her daughter, he says. With teary eyes, before dropping his knees, Taehyung stops hitting him, breathing heavily while you take deep breath. Wine, please don't hate me. I already lost Harin. I don't want to lose you or Hyun. Please, I beg you, please give me Hyun. His voice cracked, desperation clear in his eyes. Your jaw clenches. You lost your right to her the moment you abandoned Harin. She meant nothing to you back then, so why should you mean anything to her now? And believe me, even if Harin were alive, she would have raised Hyun alone with all the love in the world, without you. You see coolly Jihoon's face twist in pain, his emotion crashing down on him. You lost everyone, Hyun is my daughter now, and Van is my soon-to-be wife, and I know my sister. She loved you, Jihoon. She never told me about you because she knew I trusted her more than anyone. And if she had told me the truth back then, you wouldn't even be standing in front of me right now. Now get the hell out of my sight. I can't bear to look at you for another second. Then grabs his collar and dragging him across the floor toward the door before throwing him out like a trash. After shutting the door, Taehyung turns back to face you. You are still standing there, lost in thought, thinking about her and about all the pain she endured, the silence she never. Here, drink some water, he says, handing a glass of water. Taehyung, I'm sorry, it was all my fault. Taehyung exhales deeply, his eyes studying your broken state. It wasn't your fault. No, you don't understand. It was my fault. I was so blind in love with him that my own best friend was afraid to tell me the truth. The inside running a hand through his eyes before speaking softly. He manipulated you just like he manipulated Harin. This isn't your fault or hers. His voice is calm but firm. You look up at him, eyes glassy with unshed tears, and before you can think twice, you step forward and bury yourself in his chest. The instant touches his body dances. He is holding the glass of water in one hand. After a brief hesitation, he slowly places his hand on her back, awkwardly patting you at first. I told you it wasn't your fault, okay? His voice is softer now, reassuring. You say nothing, just listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. It's fast, surprisingly fast. The warmth of his arms around you unexpectedly comforting. You hadn't expected him to hug you back. When he carefully sets the glass down on the table and wraps his both arms around you, you find yourself holding on to him even tighter. Thank you. Then exhales a small chuckle, shaking his head. I should be thanking you. You agreed to marry a cold workaholic man like me. Our daughter, you corrected him, looking up at him without letting go. Your slightly powdered lips, your deep, unwavering gaze, it all makes his knee feel weak. Yeah, he murmurs, unknowingly running a hand, fingers through your hair in a slow, comforting motion. The moment felt unfrozen, like neither of you want to move, until a small babbling voice breaks the silence. Daddy, Papa, Mama. Both you freeze, your eyes harden as you stare at each other in shock. Did she just? Daddy, Papa, Mama. He mimics her in disbelief, still processing. You ignore his reaction and rush toward Hyun. Hyun, did you just call me Mama? And did you call me Tete Papa? Both of you answer excitedly, leaning in closer, but instead of answering, Hyun simply closes her eyes for a second and opens them again with a bright smile. She is playing with us young. You sigh, shaking her head with amusement. She's just like Harin. He chuckles softly before leaning, making a playful pout. Baby, please say it again. Tete Papa, just once. Tete, Papa, Mama. She extends her tiny hands cutely, making both of you mad. Without thanking you and Taehyung both lean in to kiss her at the same time, only for your heads to bump each other with a soft thud. You both resist and look at each other, noses 5 inches apart. Sorry too. Your voice strains for a when you suddenly feel his hand on your waist, pulling you slightly closer. His gaze remains on Hyun, but the warmth of his touch makes your heart race. On the wedding day, the ceremony is breathtaking. The vows exchange under the warm glow of candles, and when it's time to seal the marriage, Taehyung doesn't hesitate. He cups your face gently, and the guest clears. Taehyung slowly pulls away. His gaze locks onto yours. You made me fall in love with you. And now I only want my last breath to be taken in your arms. His voice is barely above a whisper, but the intensity in his eyes. Before you can even respond, he pulls you into another embrace, pressing a gentle kiss on the top of your head. Meanwhile, the wedding photos go viral. Within hours, the world is captivated by the fairy tale-like love story. The stolen kisses, the soft kisses between you and Taehyung, but one person watches with a heart filled with unbearable. His finger tightened around his phone, his eyes glued to the images of you and Taehyung, looking happier than ever. The realization crashed over him. If you want a short bonus part, just comment and let me know. If many people want it, I will post it tomorrow.